Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 28th of August. My disclaimer: this is for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some boredom and learn from it, transfer to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, yesterday obviously leaned bullish, and we got that. We had this spike down later on in the evening when the Nvidia numbers came out. They actually beat on both revenues and earnings, but sometimes I guess that's not quite enough. But there was no bad news there really to mention. Today and tomorrow are the last 2 days, trading days of August, and both of them lean essentially neutral, as does really all of next week. Okay, now, do we have, I was expecting to see this go a little higher, retest the high on the all-time high on SPX and on ES, and we got that. We've got a potential nested double top here, which I'm watching with interest. Although, to be honest, we don't have an awful lot. We've got some support in terms of negative divergence. Nothing really on ES, although if I squinted, I could just about call this a weak 60-minute sell signal, but I didn't draw it in because really it is very weak. So RTY, well, NQ, no current negative divergence. RTY, we had some negative divergence, but we lost it overnight. Not obviously looking like a double top setup here, although we do have one on NQ, of course. On YM, we actually had negative divergence last night, and that's delivered. Ideally, this would go a little higher and retest this high here, but we've got a potential level top here too. DAX, still on the floor, really. We've got a potential bull flag here overall, and but at the moment we have lost the monthly pivot as support. So ESTX is holding the monthly pivot as support so far. No obvious overall topping setup. All right, let's have a look at the hourly charts. Okay, looking at SPX. SPX, we don't have any negative divergence worth mention. That's a possible weak RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the hourly chart, but it's not an awful lot to hang your hat on. We do have now a very nice looking double top here, which would be setting up a test of significant support in the 6200 area. So watching that with great interest. Do we have a topping pattern on Qs? Not really, although actually having got up to 574.63 on this side and 574.41, this is actually a potential head and shoulders. I was thinking it was looking a little steep, but actually that's looking pretty nice. This is potentially we're at the top of a right shoulder, or very close to it on NQ. Do we have any supporting negative divergence on the hourly chart? We do not currently. On Dia, we won't get any negative divergence until we see a retest of this high here at 457.87. If we can see that, then we will have a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing on the hourly, and on IWM we've already got one brewing. In terms of the trend lines here, I wasn't expecting this one to get tested or broken, and there's currently no reason to think that it's going to be. Qs, at the moment, it'd be a bit of a struggle to get back to 58332. So those two trend lines of the four don't really look as though they'll need no alteration at the moment. Dia, the question is whether this is a bullish overthrow before we see a retracement. But if it is, then we have, of course, done a significant amount of damage to this potential double top setup here. This would look more like a head and shoulders if we were to see a breakdown here. On IWM, we didn't do the topping setup any favors here either, but it's fine if it's a head and shoulders forming. But I am wondering on both Dia and IWM whether we're going to head up to the alternate trend lines I've got marked in here, and we could still do that. All right. Looking at the daily charts on SPX, obviously we are well above the daily middle band. On the Qs, we saw another, not that marginal, but still not confident break over the daily middle band. We closed at 573.49. Almost exactly 3, so basically 0.5% over the daily middle band. It's not exactly a confident breakaway, but it has been holding it every day this week. On Dia, we hit the 3SD upper band on Dia and on IWM. on Friday, and we've been seeing a bit of consolidation. That is what we would expect to see. So if we do see a retest of this high here on Dia, we would actually get a possible daily RSI 5s sell signal break. Don't think we're in any danger of that on the Qs. We are not, and we're not in any danger of that on SPX either. All right, let's have a look at IWM. Right, IWM, we've actually got a possible daily RSI 5 sell signal brewing already. So I haven't marked it in, but we have got that. So we do have, there is some support here for a move down. Got that on the hourly chart too. We'll see how that goes, but these could be bearish overthrows, in which case I'd really be looking to see some weakness here, ideally after Dia had retested the high. But really starting at any time. These short-term double tops aren't bad looking patterns. So on ES and NQ particularly, they're very nice. They don't look particularly large. They're not setting up a particularly impressive retracement. Nonetheless, we could see these play out. We'll see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX, we've got a nice looking IHS, double bottom forming here, but it's kind of been going the wrong way for the last day or so. So we're in a state of flux here. There's a variety of things happening which are hard to assess in terms of the overall impact. A lot of things. The pattern setup is very strongly favourable to the bulls on US dollar. Everything that's actually happening pretty much is negative for it. ZB, this still looks like a bull flag megaphone, and it's nice. It is nice. We'll see whether that continues to develop, but it's not so much it's getting closer to megaphone resistance as the resistance is getting closer to price. We are holding above the weekly pivot here. If we see a break above this trend line here, then that should be setting up a retest of this high, which is something I would like to see. ZN though, that's kind of already happening. We had a little bull flag, it broke up. We've made target. So the one on ZN has already made target, and I'm watching the rising wedge resistance. We've got quite a nice looking rising wedge here. It might not survive ZB making a retest of the high, because that looks as though this would take this significantly higher. Looking at CL, we had a buy signal that's reached the possible near miss target without CL actually moving up much. We did actually make this target. Something wrong with my charts, which I'm going to be looking into, and we've lost a couple of highs. It looks as though it's stopped counting the out of hours data, which the charts are still set to look at. So I'm going to have a closer look at that and we're trying to work out what's happening. But we did actually make this target last Friday. HO. 6-minute buy signal fixed. It's getting close to the possible near miss target. On RBOB, it is fixed, not getting close to that target. We've got a potential little level bottom here, but that's pretty much made target already. Kind of looks like a bear flag forming. NG, I'm wondering about a move up to the to this trend line here at about 3.02, declining resistance from the June high. This is a decent looking overall falling wedge, so I am thinking that we are making lows or pretty close to them at the moment in all probability. GC has gone higher, which is something I'm delighted to see. I'm using the gold daily chart as my chart of the day today, showing that consolidation triangle that's been forming over the last 4 months, and really should be delivering a retest of the high in the 3,500 area in coming weeks. Obviously, it's the spread here, which means that it looks as though we've beaten that a couple of times. But yeah, we will see. If my trend line's moving around, something slightly odd happening with my futures charts the last few days. But I'll be looking into it. All right, K, SI. SI has retested this high. I'd like to see a retest of this high in the 40 area. That could be the second high of a double top when we get there, of course. Palladium still looks as though it may well be bottoming action. 6-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. PL, this could still be a double bottom, but it really, really looks like a bear flag. Bear flags would be setting up a retest of this low. So in the 1270 area. HG hasn't made it down to the white line, which is the retest of this low here, and would be the flag target for the flag that's already broken down. All right, USD, this has got a mirror double a double top, which is the mirror to the double bottom on DX. Obviously, that broke down slightly and is so far rejecting back up into the high. USD/JPY. This could be an IHS here, but if it really needs to break up soon, if it's going to break up at all. USD CAD, possible 6-minute buy signal brewing here, losing the monthly pivot at the moment. Mixed signals on currencies at the moment overall. KC. KC, this could be a little level top here. We saw the retest of this high. Wondering whether we may find resistance here. SB. We've got a possible IHS here, but it's showing no signs of breaking up. And if it doesn't break up, then we're likely to be resolving down into a retest of this low here. Looking at CC. CC, this kind of looks like a bull flag forming. CT. Nice rally here. We have a 60-minute buy signal. That's made target. Waiting to see if we can get back above the monthly pivot, double resistance at the monthly pivot and weekly pivot to deliver this double bottom target here. This kind of looks like we might have a bear flag forming. I need to look at the bigger picture chart to see if that's oversized. All right, lumber. We've got this fairly tight channel here and it's broken down. So could be that we're looking at bottoming action here, but I am kind of expecting to see a large decline in lumber, and we may be looking at a continuation down as part of that. ZW, we've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, and wondering about a retest this low, possibly to make the second low of a double bottom. On corn, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, and we've got a little head and shoulders, which is almost made target. No, we could be forming an overall inverted head and shoulders here. I don't like it because the right shoulder low here is higher than this low here. On soy, wondering about topping action here. ZL. Back below the monthly pivot, weekly pivot, wondering about a possible retest this low, but if we see that, that wouldn't be the second low of a double bottom. We do have a 60-minute buy signal fixed here. Live cattle, continuing higher, lost our negative divergence. Lean hogs, continuing higher. This is too large to be a bear flag now. So I'm wondering about a retest of this high. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Oh, watch out, if you're interested in orange juice, watch out on my Twitter. Wen's asked for the weekly and daily charts on it, so I'm going to be digging them up and sorting those out today and posting them on Twitter. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. This is quite a promising looking short-term topping setup here, and I'm watching it with interest. Although, yeah, well, I'll come to crypto when we come to the crypto one in a few minutes, but crypto at the moment looks fairly bullish. So I'm wondering about continuation high. All right, take care.